In avian circulation, there are right and left precava, which are collecting deoxygenated blood from the jugular veins coming from the head and the subclavian veins coming from the arm and the chest. There's also a postcava, an inferior vena cava, which is bringing deoxygenated blood from the inferior parts of the body. This deoxygenated blood empties into the sinus venosus, which empties into the right atrium, to the right ventricle. And note that there is a complete interventricular septum separating the right and left ventricles. Blood is sent through a pulmonary trunk to the pulmonary arteries, to the lungs, where the blood then undergoes gas exchange. Oxygenated blood then returns through pulmonary veins into the left atrium, the left ventricle, and then the arch of the aorta. As blood is sent to the brain and back, the circulatory route is fairly typical of reptiles. From the ascending aorta, there are brachiocephalic trunks, two of them on the right and on the left, unlike mammals, that then branch into the common carotid and the internal carotid, which will bring oxygen to the brain. There is an internal jugular which fuses with the external jugular to form a jugular vein, which empties into the precava, which empties into the sinus venosus. The wings of birds are modified reptilian arms, and so the circulation is what one would expect given a reptilian arm. The brachiocephalic arteries, both left and right, then branch to form subclavian arteries, to axillary arteries, to then the brachial arteries, which enter the wings, and these wings then return deoxygenated blood through brachial veins, axillary veins, subclavian veins, which empty into the precava prior to the sinus venosus. Most reptiles possess two aortic arches, which then fuse to make a dorsal aorta. In mammals, the left aortic arch is the only one retained after embryonic development, so the descending aorta arches to the left. While in birds, it is the right aortic arch which is retained, and the left one which does not survive through embryonic development. And so the right aortic arch forms the descending aorta, which then branches into iliac arteries, which then enter the leg. And on the return route, as is typical of reptiles, there are different routes back from the leg. One passes through the kidney and the renal portal system, while other veins do not and empty into the post cava. There is also an azygous vein, an alternate route back from the inferior portions of the body. These diverse routes empty into the sinus venosus.